Welcome, everyone, to another UniVirtual Experience. This is a collaborative partnership conference and festival with the Virtual World Society and Educators in VR, and we're bringing you some of the most amazing experts and innovators in immersive technology, in immersive education, that are just working together to disrupt education around the world. And we have this amazing event here with Dana Maria Faneker, who's Captain VR. It's going to be starting here in just a moment, about boosting your potential through XR technology. And we have got an amazing panel here as well. But first, I want to take a moment and thank our sponsors who make this possible, that make this event free and open to the public. And our exhibit hall will be open shortly, and we want you to go visit them. It's as an event, so check the events calendar and our announcements that'll be out on social media and our Discord and Facebook here shortly. But please visit and thank them for making this possible. We have HP Virtual Reality and HP Higher Education are our Infinity sponsors. And the new edition of their HP Reverb G2 is perfectly designed for research and higher ed, with pulse and eye monitoring and testing and other wonderful innovations that are really taking the VR headset to a new level for training and for experimentation, research, etc. Very exciting. And check out the articles about that and other things going on the educatorsinvr.com website, and head to hp.com, virtual reality, and HP Higher Education to learn even more. We also would like to thank our Galaxy sponsors, Engage VR and Advantis Education, that are also changing education in VR and AR. We also would like to thank Donna McTaggart of Let's Meet in VR, the events manager and director for Educators in VR and this UniVirtual Experience, and Tony Cube Studios for their generosity of spirit in assisting with the video and live streaming efforts for all of our Educators in VR and UniVirtual Experience events. So I would like to also thank and introduce to you Dana Maria Faneker, who is known as Captain VR, who was a sailing ship captain and became a life coach when her life was changed with the wonder and the power to influence life through not only life coaching, personal coaching, professional coaching, but also through XR technology. She's an award-winning XR developer for therapies, and we are so excited to have her here to introduce this amazing panel. Also want to note that she is the leader of our Educators in VR team project that is called V Coaching and Personal Development, and she meets every week here in AltSpace to help change lives with discussions on XR technology and open discussions on amazing topics, especially during this lockdown pandemic, helping to help thousands of people all year long. Thank you for doing that. And it's all yours.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Laurel, for introducing me. I will introduce myself a little bit more about how this all started. But first, I'd like to tell you the topic of today. It's going to be about boosting to your full potential through technology. So boosting people through technology, to their full potential through technology. And we're going to have 5 amazing speakers. They will introduce themselves, but because of the time and 5 minutes, 1 hour for 5 speakers is not so much. So we need to really set the time sharp. So what I will do is give everybody first a turn to introduce themselves, and I will put the clock on 2 minutes, and then after the 2 minutes, someone else get a turn. And this is also what we do with the questions. So you have time, audience, to ask some questions, but these questions need to be KISS, keep it short and simple, and then they have like 1 minute to answer each question. So we can answer a lot of questions for you tonight. Not maybe this morning. So I'm in the Netherlands based. So for me, it's now in the evening, but we love to answer as much as questions as possible. So we need to keep the time for that. So I first would like to start with introductions, and please, Roos, can you start your introduction? And I will put
Yes, sure. Yeah, my name is Roos Pot-kolder. I'm a psychologist. I work as a digital therapist 2 days a week. So I don't see clients live in the therapy room anymore. It's only digital. I'm also a lecturer at the University of Twente for the next generation of psychologists. And for about almost 10 years now even, I've been giving virtual reality therapy, virtual reality exposure therapy, mostly to social anxiety and paranoid anxiety. I think it was a lot less than 2 minutes, but I think that's the main part of it. I'm in the Netherlands as well. My cat is
Great. Yeah.
destroying something in the living room, so if you hear weird noises, that might be it.
Nice. Thank you so much. Then Desiderio, you are up. Who are you?
Yes. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I want first to thank Dana Maria Faneker for the kind invitation for this discussion. And also, I want to say that it is a pleasure for me to be here sharing this space with recognized colleagues, such as Professor Ekaterina, Dr. Roos, and also Nick Van Breda. My name is Desiderio Cano Porras. I am postdoctoral researcher in the Breilands Institute for Smart Society, or BISS. BISS is the Interfaculty Institute from Maastricht University in the south of the Netherlands. We promote translational research and innovation with a focus on the responsible use of novel technologies by individuals and by society. So today I work mostly in the translation of technologies into healthcare applications. And in BISS, we take a very intersectorial approach. Intersectorial meaning that we work together with governmental agencies, with other universities and research groups, with the startups, with leisure organizations, and also with societal partners, like including, for example, rehabilitation centers. So I believe that this multicentric and interdisciplinary approach is very enrichful because it enables us to produce richer content with higher societal impact. And our objective is translating the technology into benefits for individual users, but also to provide added value for organizations. So I am looking forward to this discussion, and I expect a rich dynamic of questions and answers, and thank you again.
Yes, thank you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nick van Breda. I've been studying business innovation, so I was looking at market opportunities and how new technology can be a leverage to create new opportunities for different businesses. I've been working as an entrepreneur for the last 5 years, and I just joined the university, advanced university, to actually leverage VR in higher education. So I set up a makerspace together with the University of Business Innovation, the study that I finished 5 years ago, and now we have implemented over 20 VR headsets, mostly Oculus Quests, to set up experiments in improving the learning retention of students. And so we are going to research if we can make a higher impact on the Sustainable Development Goals by giving people immersive experiences in the beginning of their 10 weeks course. So they have 10 weeks to come up with a solution for Sustainable Development Goals. And we are going to research what happens if you put that experience of the problem, the Sustainable Development Goal, for example, water issues and live on land. If we show them in VR, or if we show them as a 2D video, what happens in the end of the 10 weeks, and will we see more entrepreneurial students from it, or doesn't it really make a difference? So can we have a transfer in space and time towards a problem through VR? That's what we are researching now, and I would love to hear from you all. And I'm very happy to be a part of this conversation as well. So feel free to ask anything.
Great. And within the time. Thank you. Ekaterina, please, you are up.
Thank you, Dana Maria. Thank you for inviting me to this panel. It's always a pleasure to collaborate with you. So my name is Ekaterina Prasolova-Forland, and I am a full professor at the Department of Education and Lifelong Learning at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology in Trondheim, Norway. I have founded and leading innovative immersive technologies for learning, or for short IMTEL, research group and VR lab at our university, where we develop educational applications in VR and AR for a wide range of different stakeholders, from neurosurgeons to school teachers, university professors, local industry to young unemployed. And we also do research on how XR can be used in learning and training. We use actively XR in at courses at our university. We work on integrating XR at teaching at our university, and also at collaborating schools. And we also do a lot of dissemination activities. Generally, I've been working with educational virtual worlds in immersive technology since 2002. That at that time it was active roles and Second Life and that kind of things. And I have over 100 publications in the field. Sometimes people call me Norway's first VR professor, and I generally am a great XR adventurer, enthusiast, and evangelist. And I'm also very passionate about women and XR. I am ambassador. I'm Norway's ambassador for women in immersive tech. I understand my time is up.
But you can go on a little bit further, Ekaterina, because
Well, basically, well, I'm about to end, and today I'm going to talk about some of our projects, especially the one we do for young unemployed.
Great, thank you so much, Ekaterina. Okay, I will put the time for me now. So my name is Dana Maria Vaneke. I've been sailing around the world, first as a crew member and later as a captain. And now I'm helping people, or boosting people, to become the captains of their lives. And virtual reality is the most powerful tool to help me with my mission. That's why I founded a company called Captain VR. And how did it all started? In 2006, I had a life-changing experience. I've had a 3-day personal development seminar. And at that moment, I felt for the first time that I was actually the captain of my own life. And I really wanted others to have the same in life, and there my mission began. First, I became a professional coach, trainer, and started working for Greenpeace. Although I loved working for Greenpeace, and I think it's important, I believe that we need to focus on where we want to go in life instead of where we don't want to go in life. And I believe that it all starts with our own mind. And if you can visualize your goals and dreams, you can reach them. And with virtual reality, you can do that in the most powerful way possible. So that's why I started Captain VR, helping people, empowering people to become the captains of their own lives. And Captain VR's mission is to develop immersive V coaching experiences to boost people so they can practice, learn, and develop in a safe and interactive environment. And so people can reach their goals and dreams, and given the opportunity to take back control of their lives, so they can become the captains of their own lives and reach their full potential. So that's why I'm doing this. So thank you all for being here. I will now start by asking the first question. The first question is about the topic of the event, and that is how we boosting people to their full potential through XR technology. And we have, each of us have their own specialty. So we start again with Roos Pot-kolder. Please, can you tell us how you boost people to their full potential with XR technology?
Yes. Well, anxiety is a normal part of life for most people most of the time. But unfortunately, it can get out of hand sometimes. And if the fear and the anxiety get to be too much, it can withhold people from doing the things they would really love to do, or the things they would want to learn. And I think virtual reality for us is a great way to get that anxiety down. Because the trick is with exposure is that the anxiety only goes down after you do the scary thing. But people are afraid to do the scary thing, so they won't do it. And so this avoidance keeps the problem in itself, becomes the problem in itself. And the strange thing with VR is, with virtual reality, that if you do use virtual reality to do the scary thing, for example, giving presentations or interacting with spiders, with virtual spiders, or being in the supermarkets where it's very busy and crowded, if that is something you are afraid of. And the strange thing is, even though people know it's not real, your body still reacts as though it is. So the effect of exposure therapy, virtual exposure therapy, is the same as in real life exposure therapy. For much of the anxieties for most people, it's much easier to do it in virtuality first, where they are safe and they have privacy, and it's a safe first step. So we can use virtual reality for anxiety, so people can still live their best life and go to school and give presentations and even hold spiders if that's what they want to do, or travel. And it's a great way VR works for us, I think, as therapists.
Great. That was the end.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Roos, for explaining that. Please, Desiderio, can you explain to us how do you boost people to their full potential through XR technology?
Yes. Extended reality or XR technology has the particular ability to allow us experiencing an extended real life or experiencing completely virtual realities. So this is something that we call the reality virtuality continuum. XR technologies, they enable us not only to simulate real life environments, but also to create environments and experiences that are impossible in the real world or in real life. So in my work, I investigate the effects of immersion and embodiment. Immersion refers to the full integration of our sensory system with a virtual environment, while embodiment refers to a body ownership illusion towards avatars. It is, for example, when we recognize a virtual body or avatar as an extension of ourselves. In the healthcare sector, these factors are key to improve quality of life in patients with mental health conditions or sensory motor deficits. The effects of immersion and embodiment are so powerful that they allow us to change perceptions, to transform our attitudes, and to change our behavior. It is in this moment that XR technologies effectively open a window of possibilities for us. And we are talking about technology-human interaction. When we put human in the center of the picture, we understand the implications that come living in a digital society with many big data corporations. I am speaking about ethical and legal challenges, like, for example, privacy preserving policies or the data management of personal information. So these are aspects that we need to take into consideration when we are trying to boost the technology and to benefit for that.
Great. Thank you so much, Desiderio. Beautiful. And now, Ekaterina, can you tell us how do you boost people through their full potential with XR technology?
Thank you, Donna. I would like to exemplify with the project we are doing with the Norwegian Labor and Welfare Administration, where we are trying to empower young job seekers with VR. This project called a virtual internship or immersive job taste. And with our applications, young job seekers, typically under the age of 25, can get a taste of different professions. They can, our goal is to motivate these young job seekers and inform them on their way to work. Often, these job seekers who might be dropouts from schools and may have different issues, they have difficulties reading all these text-based job descriptions. They often have low self-esteem. They don't know if they're good for something. We want to show them that they are really they have skills to apply it for different professions, and that to give them a sense of mastery, and also to allow them to explore different professions in a fun, interactive, and safe manner, so that they can really kind of try how it is to be, for example, a car mechanic. Then they are transported to a virtual car workshop where they can experience the workplace. They can actually try different tasks and see, okay, this is something I really can be good at. This is something that could be fun, and it could be my future profession. And we have so far developed in collaboration with local industry, different virtual professions or immersive job tastes. In our case, it's a taste of a job. It's not full workplace training. It's just a peek into different professions. So we have, for example, salmon feeding, construction, electrician at a windmill, car workshop, crane simulation. We have warehouse worker, and lately a pharmacy technician, where one of the tasks actually to administer a COVID vaccine, which is really relevant these days. We also have a job interview where these young job seekers can train on stressing job interview situations. And we have experienced then some of job seekers who, for example, never before could imagine working in a salmon industry. They tried our application and thought, this is something that could be fun and interesting for me. And this person actually applied for a permanent position at one of our major salmon producers, and he got hired. He got a permanent position. So if we just kind of made one person from long-term unemployed to fully employed, as already this project was worth all the time and all the effort. And of course, we've been affected by COVID-19.
Thank you so much.
We haven't been able to test that much as we wanted, but now when the situation is getting better, we are really trying to spread this to all our different NAV offices and test it in long term with job seekers. Okay, sorry, I again overstepped my time limit.
No problem. Thank you so much, Ekaterina. Very good, very nice adding. And Nick, can you tell us, how do you boost people to their full potential?
Yeah, so for me, I mostly apply XR for business purposes. So like the last year has been terrible for many people that have not seen their colleagues in the co-working and the remote working industry. So first of all, we started helping a co-work space that was closed and wanted to find out if they could continue to give the community values. So they asked us to create a photogrammetry scan of their co-work space, where they could actually start again hosting their events and facilitating their event spaces for groups, mostly for businesses, for bankers, for political parties that want to have conversations together. And we started training them in using, in this sense, was WebVR on Mozilla Hubs, so a different VR platform. We started training them, and now they are actually having an extra offering from their company for their visitors, so they can offer hybrid events and they can offer fully digital meeting spaces. That was the first question, but afterwards there were more and more companies asking us for example, team building activities, so they could have a weekend, a family weekend with all the colleagues and their family together in VR. And we were able to give them a fun and exciting experience through Allspace, with hide and seek activities, from playing basketball together to which also creating an AR game where they could go outside with the family together to find treasures like a Pokemon Go. These are some business development things we've done, but we saw that people were having really an interested in coming together, like the social elements of VR. And then we started designing how to do brainstorms in education, how to do a creative process together. And nowadays in Avans University, we have a headset per duo, per 2 students, to actually start learning to facilitate brainstorm sessions in VR for example, for businesses, clients that they are starting to work together in projects. So instead of asking those people to go to school, the schools are closed. At least higher education is closed here, and they were not allowed to go to school at all. We have set up a borrowing system where they can just rent like a book. They can rent a VR headset, and they can still continue to learn how to facilitate innovation processes, even though that was not in person with the sticky notes. They are now doing that in virtual reality. So we see completely different opportunities coming up through the pandemic. And in education, you see that students can actually overcome their fears of speaking out. The introverts are more able to speak up as an avatar shape than that they could do in Teams or in Zoom. So instead of having a webcam and then presenting yourself in a group, now they are more able to share their ideas, and that brings a more shared vision of a problem statement that they are solving together. So that's what we have been seeing in the last couple of months.
Thank you so much, Nick. Very good. Very diverse team we have here. Very diverse. So I use virtual reality experiences for coaching and personal development. We create them ourselves, and we also coach people with these experiences. We do that since 2015. What is full potential? So fear and trauma can be in a way of living a life full potential. So I think there we started there in 2015, 16, and 17 with the focus on fear and trauma-based treatment, and see how we can help people through these traumas or fears to help them to overcome them. And then now in 2017, 18, we started more focusing on stress management through to meditation experiences. We believe that with meditation, you can really, it's really easy to put headsets on and meditate. For many people, it's hard to meditate, or they find a way that they find it difficult to concentrate. They think they need to do something during meditation, but with VR, you can just put a headset on and you are in meditation. So it makes a meditation really easy. But now, for example, we are focusing on more on where we want to go. So visualize it. If you can visualize it and feel that you already have it, then you can be it, then you can achieve it. We are now looking to create creating a space where you have to, within 30 minutes, go from one starting point to another end point. And in the meantime, you go through a maze and have to cross enormous heights, and you have to confront certain challenges. And this in 30 minutes time. And this experience helps you to create leadership skills under high pressure. So experiences like that we are creating and seeing, also testing on different people how they experience these experiences. So, and if it really is beneficial for their goal. So we want to more and more focus on goal achieving, and how can we realize our dreams in life. So this is what we do. And now, yes, we're going to have some questions from the audience. So there's a raise hand button now on your right button side, and if you push the raise hand button, you can ask some questions to the speakers. One question for one speaker, so we don't want to have like all the questions to one speaker. So please, one question at a time for one speaker, and also it needs to be answered quite different. Nick, you are the first one to ask a question. Great. You want to ask a question?
Yeah, I'm really curious about the audience, and yeah, like if we have a little bit more information about you and the reason why you're here, I think the energy will come towards, okay, what kind of questions can we find in your situation? So feel free to speak up and let us know a little bit about your context before you ask the question. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Very good. So we want to know a little bit more about you, why you asked this question, and what is your background. So any more questions?
Rami is up.
Rami.
Good
One of our
morning.
faithful attendees. Yes.
Thank you. We are not, actually, no, I am not, I don't know how many people who are stressed or with other problems can solve the problems going to virtual reality. And maybe it's the opposite. People can get, I think, I don't know, can get stressed or anxious or something else going to virtual reality. Do you know what is the number of people, because you work on that face those kind of problems or those kind of issues?
I think this question is best to answer by Roos. Don't you think so?
I don't
Roos?
fully understand the question. So which problems? Problems that people that make people go
is
in
it
VR?
more stressful to go in VR?
For people, is it more stressful to go in VR?
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
what is the balance?
if you work with those kind of problems, maybe you have that, not in numbers, but maybe you can say many people do, few people do, most of the people get solutions going to virtual reality, or the opposite.
Well, correct me if I don't understand your question right. But I think that it's hard to get numbers on that, as there's so little virtual reality available yet. And so there's no natural process we can measure in that. The opposites of people escaping in VR and becoming that a problem, that is of course possible on a personal level, but we don't have any data on how that could be addictive or things like that, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, actually, I would like to know, because not everyone, I haven't talked to anyone who get to release maybe a problem going to VR, or to get the problem going to VR. It's interesting how you professionals on those kind of things can maybe manage those kind of people.
So how we view that as psychologists is that it seems that you can use VR as a coping strategy. And for all coping strategies, it is that they are not bad in itself, but if you use them too much, if you use one of them way too much, then they become a problem. And so if you use VR just to relax or sometimes to escape real life, then it's fine. But like any other coping strategy, that becomes a problem if you do it too much. And then it gets into the way of real life, so to speak.
Great answering. Yes, very good. Thank you that you picked up this question so well, Roos. And thank you also for asking this question. I forgot your name. Rami. Yes. Anybody else who wants to ask a question? Or
Camila?
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
You're on.
To who you going to ask your
Hi,
question? And why you're asking this question? A little background would be nice.
Great. This is my first VR event. And I am from Santiago de Chile, an organizational psychologist, and I do e-coaching through, I'm learning to use technology to coach and train people to develop their potential. So in that context that I work now, I would like to know how to engage people, because sometimes it's hard for me to get people to do e-coaching, like through email or through the phone, and I don't know how we'll take them to do through VR. And also, I would like to know if do you have some kind of assessment or measure on how the potential is improved or boosted after a VR coach or e-coach, VR training, or any of the tools you use to boost the potential. Thank you.
Yes, and shall I answer this question, because it's a coaching question? So maybe this is really good question actually, because what we see, the problem is the adoption to new technology. So how can we get people on board with VR? So you have to make it as easy and accessible as possible. So many times for now, for example, the first time we want to start with people, not even, with the headset. We just start with maybe 2D laptop VR experience if you do it multi-users. So this is how we sometimes start, or else what we do if we use the VR headset as a tool when you are together with your patient or client, then you would use actually the that you give really steps, little steps. You are there first, you show the glasses, then you show the glasses how you use them and how you put it on, and then you practice this putting on and off the glasses. So you really make it really little steps, and if they get used to the technology VR experiences, then you can go a step further. But the onboarding, this is how we use the name it, that we get people into the XR experience. The onboarding is really, really, really important. You need to really give a lot of focus and attention there, I think. This is the first question. Any adds from the speakers here? Do you want to add to that?
Especially when you're working with businesses that have an average age over 40, they have probably never used video games from their youth. If you have an audience under 40, they probably played video games before, and that's especially when you use the computer, you're using the same key functions as you're using in video games. So you really got to pay attention to the age of the audience, and it always helps to create video instructions, very short video instructions of 2 to 3 minutes, and do proper onboarding sessions before such a training. Because people, when they have something new, they are unable to express themselves. So if you give them already some free time to play around in, for example, the room you've set up, like 1 or 2 days before, or maybe even more, when there's the time for that, it really helps to get people on board and to get them used to the new environment. And what we do is we create a lobby where they know the keys, like how to walk around, how to turn on the audio, to actually use the functions of the tool before we actually put them into the training space. That's really useful, and will help them definitely will help them on board and participate in the session.
But then you are really talking about multi-uses, with if you use the tool as a when you're in the same room with the client and you use the VR headset, then you are using not the lobby, but then you just do a training with them and make them comfortable with the headset and the VR experiences. And you had another question. Did you say, Camila, that was the first question? You had another question?
Yeah, I do have another question. Sorry. Is there any environment where you could practice before taking a real client?
Yes, that's the lobby.
Sure,
If you
sure.
do multi-user, yes. Oh, Nick, sorry.
Yeah, so what we see is that what helps is actually a 3-step approach. We actually start with web VR, because then it's just a website link, and then they can get started with using the keyboard tools. So I normally start with Mozilla Hubs before we actually ask them to install software like Altspace. They have the same controls. Altspace itself has a better tutorial. The tutorials in the system, so once they have an account, they get a proper tutorial to get used to the tools. But getting them there, it might be hard. So setting up a lobby inside Mozilla Hubs, putting some instructions on the wall. When they enter, they see exactly in front of them, okay, you use the W to go forward, you use the A to go backward, and letting them walk around in that space before, even if it's just one person or it's more people. I always try to be there. So actually ask them if there's a bigger group to call me on the phone when they are having trouble, because otherwise they disturb all the others that are in the room that are easily going through the tutorials. So I actually asked them to call over the phone if they have some issues, and then in 2 minutes they are all set up and they are helped out, and then they can go to the next room where, for example, my colleague, I work together with Dana most of the time, is actually helping them for into the next step. So it always helps if you have multiple rooms that you have such a reception, someone waiting the visitors, to not shock them, to get them at ease in this new environment.
Great, thank you.
Yes, and maybe good to know we are educating coaches and trainers how to use technology like this, and Nick are collaborating in this field. So if you are interested in that, feel free to come to us after the session and we can set up a meeting for that if you are interested. Anybody else who would like to have one more question? One more question we can answer, or else we go to the question that we have thought of. No questions yet. So then the next question is how we are boosting organizations, or how we are assisting and managing tomorrow's people. So what I'm meaning with that, so how we are assisting and in managing tomorrow's people. So how we are helping the people to make them future proof, actually. So how we can make people future proof in this with this new technology. So do you understand then, Roos, what you have to
I hope so.
talk about? Or else I will explain a little bit more. Thank you so much, Roos.
Yeah, I think at least I know how we try to do that within therapies. And it is something my colleague referred to earlier, is that something we can do with virtual reality, with mixed reality, is that we can create situations which are not always possible in real life. And the term we use for that is overexposure. So for example, with the spider phobia example again, instead of having just regular spiders, normal sized spiders, we also can have spiders this high, or maybe with multiple legs and multiple colors. And this is a form of overexposure. Similar, it can be for social anxiety, for example. We do that a lot with speaking anxiety, that you don't only do a lot of speaking in public exercises, exposure exercises, but you also get to exercise the thing you fear most, which is, for example, sweating a lot, or people asking the one question you don't want to be asked, or people mentioning that they see you sweating or blushing. So that's a form of it. It's something that will not happen in real life. I've never heard of it happening in real life. But it is something that can sort of future-proof people, because they know even if my worst fear, my worst nightmare comes true, I can handle that situation. I know how to do that. That's the way we psychologists use that.
Great, really great. Really, thank you. Very good example. Okay, and Desiderio, what is your example?
Yes.
How do you make people? Yes, go on.
How to empower people? Well, it is good if we start saying that technologies, they influence everything, but they determine nothing. The ones that determine how technology influence our lives are ourselves. So technologies change and new technologies appear, and also the technologies that already exist, they are continuously transforming themselves. And those changes are getting increasingly fast. Therefore, for keeping the pace of technological change and for exploiting the benefits of new technologies in effective ways is not obvious, is not necessarily an easy task. It requires a deeper understanding on how technology works. So to be future-proof, we need to empower ourselves with better knowledge and information about the science behind it. I am not saying for you to take a scientific approach in full, but at least to consult science. What I mean here is to understand the working principles of the technology, the mechanisms, how it works, what strategies to take, and it will allow us to take evidence-based projects to develop initiatives that are theory-driven and to make argued choices. So my suggestion is, my suggestion would be to be creative and to develop or engage in projects that are human-centered, problem-solving oriented, and to be responsible towards individuals and towards society. This is what we call innovation. Unfortunately, today, many people misunderstand and misuse the concept of what innovation is. Then, when you work in the translation of new technologies in real-life applications, my invitation is to embrace science, take efforts to understand the state of the art in the type of technological application that you want to work with. And this is going to increase tremendously the quality, the impact, and the sustainability of your project or your idea. So that would be my suggestion on how to empower ourselves with the technology.
Great, thank you so much. Ekaterina, how do you make people
Thank you. Our
future-proof?
approach has been to be very active on the dissemination front. We have dissemination as a part of our strategy. We have arranged several so-called innovation days at our lab. It was mostly physical in the good old days, where we had speakers, and then we had open doors at the lab where people could come to the lab and experiment and explore the new technology and get new ideas and get more familiar with how to use the technology. Of course, we have to be more virtual, but this also emphasized the need for the solutions to be easy to use, because especially with all these hygienic precautions where you can properly check what is in the VR glasses, you have to kind of sanitize it many times. You really have to make sure that all your applications are really easy to use, and especially we experience with our applications for unemployed. While the young people who are used to gaming, they pick everything up very quickly, while their counselors, who are also our target group and who are typically people in their 40s and 50s, they really struggle to understand what controllers to use and how to navigate in the VR space. We really have to be inclusive and to think of different user groups who could use the technology and be really patient and do a lot of usability testing. And also educating the public. So we try to run several workshops for different user groups on how to use technology and being accommodating for different user groups, because it's really important not to lose people who are enthusiastic to begin with, who have great ideas, but once they try a badly designed user interface, they may just get disappointed and just give it up. So it's really important to listen to people and to be attentive to their needs.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ekaterina. And then Nick, how do you make people future-proof?
I think the whole technology is actually allowing us to replace books and to create simulations of a world that we want to live in. So I'm really looking forward to see more and more students getting empowered by their teachers to get started, to create their future jobs and to create their future societies by designing it themselves. So I would love to see more and more creative exercises being used in VR, and that's why we help the students of business innovation in starting to work on the creative part. So setting up brainstorms and facilitating the share of ideas over nations and together with people that are, for example, in living in third world countries that are able to access over, for example, their phones or their computers, while we are able to connect with each other and facilitate their ideas by drawing them in the virtual reality environment. And by taking, for example, the Sustainable Development Goals as a shared goal, as the United Nations shared goal to get them solved by 2030, by 2030 is very early on, but finally we are able to co-work and to collaborate across nations on these goals. Instead of having to travel, only the richest could go to these meetings, for example, in the European Commission, getting together to discuss these topics. And then you had to be political to get on board. And now everyone has a tool that they can visualize a beautiful future that they would like to live in. And I and my future generation and my children, for example, in the future, could have a beautiful planet to still live on. So that's why I think this technology is going to help us create future-proof skills and to design future-proof societies.
Oh, sorry, I'm shooting myself away. Great, really nice, very inspiring. I'm gonna just move myself back to where I came from. Oh, sorry, sorry. Somehow, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, making people future-proof. So what we do is helping people to make actually a bridge, so people and technology can start working together. So the problem is that people don't have the understanding how fast technology is going. Maybe you, I don't say older people, but many people had, like 20 years ago, the mobile phone came, and then people thought it's not really interesting to me. I don't need a mobile phone. And then now 20 years later, yeah, we have smartphones, we have internet, we have all sorts of things that we use that we did not know that we wanted to use 20 years ago. So many people think that time went fast, but the coming 20 years will maybe be 100 times faster if you talk about technology than the last 20 years. And people don't know how to cope and keep up. So we want to help these people to get started with this technology. And we focus more on XR technology. And we are now creating a space in near Amsterdam. I'm living in the Netherlands, where we're going to have a company called Captain VR Has. That's a hybrid action space where people not can only get to know technology, but also get a plan how to work with this new technology, so they can get right away in action with this new technology. And this is how we want to provide a platform for people to get to know technology and to start using technology for their own benefit, for their companies and for their organizations. And yeah, more about this in another event. So are there any questions for now? So we have one question now for one person to ask. If there's one urgent question, please feel free to ask now by raising the hand button, or else we're going to make a selfie with all of us because it's already 5 to 7. And if we can have a selfie right now, that will be also good. So if everybody would come here.
Wait a minute,
please, yes?
hold on. You have two things going on. How about a minute or so of questions to see if anybody have any questions, then we do the selfie.
Okay, yeah.
Does that work? Okay, let's just.
Yeah, great.
I love getting a little excited here. So, does anyone have any questions? Any more questions? I have one for this, esteemed, wonderful group. I see your, and maybe that we don't have enough time for this answer, so probably being succinct for it. If we run a little bit over, it's okay.
Yes.
Are you seeing greater improvement with the introduction of XR technology than you were in the real life therapies and treatments and things you're doing? Are you really seeing that? It's kind of a yes, no, but any quick story of really seeing how lives are changed?
Is that a question for Roos or Desiderio?
Yeah, I want to say something because during my PhD studies, I was working with virtual reality for rehabilitation of balance and guiding people with neurological conditions. So my answer is that yes, virtual reality helps, but we need to understand that this is not going to replace traditional therapies. This is a complementary technological tool for clinicians and for therapies. And remember also that many patients, they are not necessarily welcoming the therapy. When we speak about usability and adaptability, there are people that is more prone to enjoy and to benefit from the technology. But at the same time, what extended reality do is to increase adherence, motivation, engagement, to be combined with gamification tools, with multisensory feedback. And this is engaging. This makes patients to actually be motivated to do their therapies and their rehabilitation using VR technologies.
Interesting. Does that pretty much apply for the rest of you?
Roos?
Yes, maybe I would like to add something. For us, we do see, well, the first step when we started out with virtual reality was recreate situations that we knew worked in real life. And I think the next step for us is now, which is what we're also a bit doing with the overexposure, is thinking about, okay, great, but how can we use the unique features of this technology, considering the working mechanisms behind the therapy, and how can we increase that? So I think that will be the next step for us as well.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we have one more question left, and then we will end the recording and do the selfie. All right, Popette?
Yes, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So my question is, has anybody worked with the possibility of XR or VR being used to augment anti-anxiety medication or to replace it? And I'm asking because when I first put on my VR helmet 3 weeks ago, my anxiety went away. That's not scientific, but it never came back. And I even missed some of my medication days. Those are some of the best days I've ever had. And it shows no signs of stopping. So I'm very, very curious if this is a thing or I'm imagining this.
Beautiful.
I do know some science research. On that. What we do know, at least what the research says so far, that has been done so far, is that using virtual reality, especially when you use it actively to relax or to do meditation or to just socialize, then we see an immediate effect on lowering your anxiety. And this is there are some papers out on that if you're interested. On the long-term effects, there's no data yet that I know of.
And the rest of you?
Yes. Yes, maybe I can answer a question. We work with Helium, a partner in America. They develop virtual reality meditation tools, and they have a lot of clinical studies done on anxiety treatment and stress management, and they have really good results. So there are really some good experiences there that really seem to help with anxiety and fear and stress management. So Helium is one of them. You can do a free download from Oculus Go, and I think also from the Oculus Quest, but then you need to get it from the sideload thing. You know how it works, and Nick, you did it before.
And
Yeah,
I can
via
maybe
sideload
add a
VR,
tip
yeah.
as well for the scientific research, if any of you want to read those
Yes.
papers. If you make an account on ResearchGate, there are a lot of scientists there who just openly share their papers. I do as well, so you can just download them. You search on your favorite topic.
Great. Yes, we link many of those in our Educators in VR Discord as well. They're wonderful. Also would like to just add as we get ready to close this up that I can tell you from anecdotal experience that this is a story we've heard over and over and over again with people with social anxieties and different forms of anxieties, that when they come into social VR, it makes a tremendous difference. So again, there's research that backs that up. I can only report on the anecdotal that I've heard the story so many times. It's like, oh yeah, I heard it before. It's beautiful, so we're hearing it quite often. It's lovely. All right. Thank you. And congratulations too. It's pretty profound when they have those kind of life changes. So good on you. Good on you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you.
All right. I want to, before we get to our selfie, because our camera person often is the person taking the selfie as well. This has been another amazing UniVirtual Experience conference with the Virtual World Society, Educators in VR, bringing experts and innovators and educators in immersive technology, immersive education together to discuss all month long across over 19 different virtual social platforms, and apps. I want to thank this amazing team that Dana Maria has brought together for as part of the V coaching team that we have here, the team project, and fantastic insights, just beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Also want to thank our sponsors who make this all possible, make all of our events free and open to the public. Without them, we probably wouldn't be here. All right, so I want to thank HP Virtual Reality and HP Higher Education, our Infinity sponsors. We'd also like to thank our Galaxy sponsors, Engage VR and Advantis Education. We're also changing the face of education in VR and XR. Our exhibit hall will be open in a little less than 1 hour. Please tell your friends, spread the news, come visit. It's an amazing place created by Mark from News and Updates and all of our Educators in VR team. You will not want to miss that. And I also want to thank Donna McTaggart of Let's Meet in VR, the event manager and director for Educators in VR and the UniVirtual Experience, and all of our volunteers, all of our video people, all of our moderators, and everyone.
Yeah, Jason Wang,
so
and
much
of course
of
Laurel van Vossen, the founder of Educators in VR. Also give her a big hand.
No, thank you. That's good. Not there. All right. So thank you to all of our film crew and to all of our different members and the team members. This is a huge collaborative effort. And so with that, we're going to end the video.